That's right, guys. We're going to be armed with hardcore facts today as to the drop rates of stuff in the game, when you guys should be spending that resin for the best resources available for you, whether it's world boss farming for character ascension materials, or go ahead and get those 5-star awakening mats or the 5-star artifacts, or even what is the drop rate on the prototype things anyhow, and should you be waiting just a little bit longer to try to maximize the drop rates there. This is going to be brought to you by the data collection community. I was reached out to by them to see if I could help you guys get in there and also help out with this as well, because the more people input their data, the more accurate this is going to be, because you're gonna have a larger sample size over time. But with that being said, before we get into that part about how you can help out, let's take a look at the data itself. So as you can see here, I'm gonna be down in the corner. I'm gonna try to not block it as much as possible. This is the data that's collected so far. Most people that are helping with this data are world level 4, 5, and 6. So that's the most accurate data that we have here. So you can see the drop rates for 3-star, 4-star, and 5-star artifacts that's been collected so far. What does this mean? So if you see 2.89, that means on average between those 187 runs here in the Pyro Regis-Find, 187 runs at world level 5, 2.89 was the average of blue artifacts. So 2 to 3 blue artifacts there if you were to run that. 1.1 of the 4-star artifacts, so 1 to 2 4-star artifacts, and 0.18% on the 5-star artifacts. Now, obviously, 187 runs, that's still a decent amount, but we're trying to get more people in here to make this even more accurate. But what you can gather from this is the drop rate increases on the 5-star artifacts here. World level 5 to 6, it goes from 1.18 to 0.39. So there is some sort of substantial increase, possibly double, maybe 20% up to 40% from world level 5 to world level 6. And this holds true if you compare it to the other bosses that are run. Cryo Regis-Find 0.17 on world level 5, 0.36 here on world level 6. So right around a 20%-ish average, it looks like, to 40%. If you compare this to all of them, Oceanid 0.21 on world level 5, 0.40 on world level 6. So it looks like 20% is what we're aiming for here, what the actual average here on world bosses on world level 5, 20% 5-star, right? That's where you're gonna get those gladiator pieces. So if you're really trying to farm up gladiator set, you might even wait until you're world level 6 for that 40%. That's double the drop rate on average compared to world level 5. Now, if you wait till world level 7, it's another 20% increase. So that goes from 40% drop rate to 60%, and that's a 50% drop rate increase, not a 100% drop rate increase. So, you know, I would definitely wait for world level 6. It seems to be about the on average if you're really trying to farm up those artifacts for gladiator. Obviously, farm your world bosses up for their ascension materials. Those don't seem to substantially change at any given time. If you take a look at the ascension materials here for the Pyro Regis-Find, Cryo Regis-Find, Oceanid, and Nemo Hypostasis, all of those things here, if you take a look at their hardcore things outside of them being gated at certain world level ranks for certain ascension mats, there doesn't seem to be a giant leap in anything here. So world level 4 for the purple ascension mat, 7%, it looks like here. That's the first time you see that because it's hard gated. You can't get a drop at world level 1, 2, or 3. It seems due to this data set. Obviously, it's a lower sample size there on lower world level runs. But if you look at any of the other ones, they also do not seem to be dropping world levels 1, 2, or 3. So with that being said, you go from 7% to 14% to 15% to 15%. So they don't really seem to substantially increase at your world level beyond 5. Now, obviously, like I keep repeating, larger sample size, you guys get out there, you follow those links down in the description. Just keep that sheet handy every single time you do something, and the boss just pop it in there real quick, and this makes it even more accurate. It's a nice little Google sheet. It'll send it right into right to them so they can put it into the spreadsheet here, and it's going to work out wonderfully that way. It's going to help further community, and really the Genshin Impact community player base. There's a difference between a player base and community. The player base is so large that if a little bit of you guys get in there and help out, we can do some crazy things together, guys. And if you want to do some crazy things on this channel, make sure you come back for more, because we're trying to grow our community here as well. Get that factual information out for you guys, all that cool stuff, things that you can do in the game with certain characters. If you put your mind to it and you know the math behind the game, you can do a lot of cool stuff. So you want to see more of that stuff, go ahead and follow the channel here as well. So basically, this is what it looks like for the different world bosses as far as it comes to the elemental world bosses, I like to call them. Nothing substantially changes. If you guys want to look more into these guys, on your own, then go for it. But I just wanted to point out specifically for these guys, the 5-star artifact rate is very, very, very interesting between world level 5 and 6, because it's looking like 20% to 40%. That's twice the drop rate. And then if you want to wait a whole nother 5 levels, AR 50, you get 20% more, and that's a 50% increase instead of doubling it up. So keep that in mind there. Also, that could change the more data that we get. Now let's take a look at the other world bosses who have, you know, the Lupus Borealis, Dvalin, and the new Tartaglia world boss here. So the one thing that everyone wants to know about, what about the prototype drop rates? What do they look like here? So the ones that we can really take a look at, because they have the larger sample size, once again, worlds level 4, 5, and 6 so far for all of them. Worlds level 1, 2, and 3, there's not as many runs. You're going to see a little bit of discrepancies there just because of RNG. As you can see here, Andrus Lupus Boris here, if you look at the prototype for world level 2, there's only been 4 runs done, period, but somehow it's got a 50% drop rate. Does that mean you should be running this at world level 2? No, this is going to be a statistical anomaly. There's only 4 different data sets in there, 4 different attempts, and that dude got super lucky. He got them to drop each time, half the time. So keep that in mind. That's why this says 50%. But if you compare this to a lot of the other ones, you look at worlds level 4, 5, and 6, because that's the largest sample size, the most runs done, you can see that it's right around, it looks to be like a 20-ish% drop rate, give or take a little bit there. 19% here at world level 4, 16% world level 5, 20% at world level 6. So obviously you would have to go back and say, why does this 19% at world level 4? Is that better than 5? Should I start doing 4? No, like again, compare the runs, 21 runs, 19%, not as large as a sample size as the 107 runs at world level 5. That means the more accurate information here so far is going to be the world level 5 107 runs, 16-ish% there. As you can see, you compare it to the Dvalin here, world level 5, 85 runs done, 12-ish%. So it's going to be somewhere between that 12 and 15-ish% world level 5 prototype drop rate is kind of what we're looking at here, and nothing really substantially changes. You can go ahead and look at the Lupus Boreas, the world level 6 drop rate here, 21-ish% with 73 runs done. However, if you compare that to the Dvalin one, world level 6 here, 13 runs done, only 15%. And as you can see, world level, it's not world level 6, it's the Dvalin level 6. There's not as much as the sample size here. So I would expect this one to grow and match the Lupus one, and go ahead and check out the Tartaglia Child fight as well. The domain level here for him, 2, 16-ish%, 43 runs done. A domain level 3, 75 runs done, 12-ish% there. So these are going to be, you know, there's some sort of discrepancy going on there, but look for it to be like a 15-ish% drop rate there. You say 15%, how come I haven't gotten one yet? 15% is a very low drop rate, especially considering that maybe you guys can only be doing 2 of these a week for the longest time. Odds are not in your favor to get multiple of these with a 15% drop rate, and considering that's 15% at domain level or world level 4, 5, 6, it's going to be even lower before that. So keep that in mind there. The other thing to point out with these is that you can get the final, right, the big leveling mat, the gold talent leveling mat here from the Lupus Boris Dvalin fights. You can start getting those obviously at world level 5, right? We've seen that before. At certain levels, these unlock. But the next level, it seems to actually give you a pretty good chance of getting 2 of them. So if you look at the Lupus Boris here, world level 5 here for him, you have a look at 1%, 1.01. So it can drop more than 1, apparently, unless someone, you know, fudged a little data there. One person out of his 107 runs seemed to have gotten a second copy of a 5-star Talent Awakening material. However, if you look at world level 6 for Lupus Boris here, 1.51, it substantially increases. So about 50% of the time, you're going to get 2 of these materials. So get your world level up. That's going to be a great thing. And then the last one to look at is world level 7. It says 2.0 on it. Now, there's only 5 runs done, but for all 5 of those people to get a double drop, that's a pretty substantial thing. Now, that could not be a double drop. It could be like a 75% chance of an extra one with only 5 runs done. That could be a thing there as well, and that would match up with some of the other data we have. So I don't expect, you know, world level 7 to be a full 2.0 drop there on Lupus Boris. But the thing to take away from that, world level 5, you start getting them guaranteed. World level 6, you're going to get 1.5 on average every time you do him there. So Dvalin here, same sort of story. You gain access to this. He can start dropping them in a good frequency at Duvall level 4. You get around 1. Apparently it can drop not 1. We have 0.99% so far here from the data set that we see here. But the next tier up, Duvall level 4, domain level 4, 1.46%. So once again, same sort of thing. It seems to be like a 50-ish percent. The run done here is only 85. We need a much larger sample size. So I need you guys to get out there, share this video so people can maybe look at the data themselves and have another way of you guys explaining to them in your off time why this is so important, so everyone can be armed with the information for the stuff we have now and into the future, guys. This is a big thing, having the community come together, so keep that in mind as well. Now the child thing here, same sort of thing, 1.0 around at domain level 2, domain level 3, 1.42, so right around that 50-ish percent bonus there, give or take some sample set size. And then the last one here, 1.86 at domain level 4 here, only 7 runs done. Now, the thing that needs the most work on, guys, is going to be the artifact sets. When you're getting in there and you're farming, this is going to give you a better idea of what's going on there. Not a lot of players have farmed a whole bunch and put in data for some of the other ones. So Hidden Palace of Zoo Formula, not a lot of work has been done in this one. Clear Pool Mountain Cavern, not a lot of work has been done in this one. But some of the more farmed up sets are in here. We have some Midsummer Courtyard, Domain of Guyun, and you can see domain level 5. Right, you get in there 50-ish percent. It seems to be 40-ish percent, 50-ish percent, somewhere in there, give or take. It seems to be the drop rate for these 4-star artifacts. These ones down here, 33%, 39%, 100 and something runs done. We want much larger runs, much larger sample size for this. But that is something that I get asked all the time. Is it worth running for 5-star artifacts before they're guaranteed, right? Before they're guaranteed, is it worth running them? And it seems to be up to you still, obviously, but it's not like a 20%, 10%, 5% drop rate. It seems to be a 35-40% drop rate from what's been gathered so far, and that's a huge deal. That's a pretty substantial increase there. Now, obviously, afterwards, the final level, or the next level, okay, the next level, because I don't want to say final or next. I want this video to age a little bit better than them implementing a tier beyond the tier we already have. You can get another one on top of the guaranteed one. And it seems to be like a 4-ish, 5-ish, 6-ish, 7-ish, maybe a little bit higher than that percentage chance. We have 1.04% extra chance there, 11% extra chance, 7% extra chance, 8% extra chance, 4% extra chance here on these ones as well. So keep that in mind there. The least interesting one here so far is the Talent Awakening and the Weapon Awakening Ascension materials. These ones seems to just kind of go in there and just kind of do the highest one you can anyway. It's the best thing to do, and it just kind of grows over time with you. Now, obviously, the weird one here is if you do want specifically just green books and only green books, you don't care about any other kind of book, you have the highest drop rate on the lowest level of the domain for the green books by a large margin. You can compare this to some of the other ones. Now, it's not that much substantial that you should do it. In my opinion, you should always be shooting for some of the higher books because you're gonna need the higher books eventually anyway. Don't be running the lower level domain just for the green books, just because they have a better drop rate due to some of the data sets that you might see here. But definitely go in there. You don't want to be giving up some of the purple book drops just for some green books. Just run the dungeon again, take that, single or double, triple book that you get there for the purple book, and take that as a W and get out of dodge there, obviously. And the drop rates for the gold ones seem to be extremely low, 7 to 10%. So probably like that 5%. The sample size here is actually pretty large here, 294 runs in Cecilia Garden, 208 runs in Hidden Palace of Liangshan Formula here, 0.07, so that's 7%, and 0.1. So right there, that's 7 to 10% of those 5-star gold talent / weapon or weapon awakening materials there. Excuse me, they're not actually talent awakening materials there. And if you guys want to go ahead and check out even more stuff, the actual breakdown, they have all of that stuff for you guys to go ahead and look at. And this is where all your data is going to be recorded. You don't have to put it in here though. Let's show you exactly what it is that you're going to be doing. So it's gonna be very simple. I'll have the link for this down below. Make sure you do use that and like this video so this can get out there even more. But what you're gonna be doing, you're gonna be clicking on the link for the Genshin Impact drop rate questionnaire. And anytime you want to put in data, this is gonna be the easiest way for you to do it. You can put in your Discord handle. You don't have to. It's an optional thing. So don't go ahead and do that. Feel like you're pressured to do that if you need to. It's an optional thing. All you're gonna be doing is put in your world rank. This is gonna help them decide where to put you in that data set. So this is gonna help out. Say I'm AR 45, 49, somewhere that I'm world level 6. I'm trying to, in this point in time, maybe I just ran Dvalin. So So I'll go in with Dvalin here, and then I'll click on next because that's the one thing that I'm reporting on. It's gonna ask me how many prototype weapons that I dropped. You know, it's gonna be pretty easy to determine whether or not you got one, because you'll be like, yes, I got one. Or you might be like, I got the wrong one. So you know, you put in some random number there equal to whatever it is that you actually got. You'll keep track of how many 2-star, 3-star, 4-star, 5-star artifacts that you got in there. If you didn't get any, you'll put in none. If you did get some, you'll put in up to 7 that you can see here. And then you'll keep track of your ascension materials here. So your ascension materials, these are going to be the different materials used to awaken your characters. As it explains it right here, the seeds that it says here are the Everflame seeds, the Hurricane seeds, the Hoarfrost cores, those unique rare materials, including stuff like the 5-star ones, like Dvalin's Plume, the Tail of Borealis. If you got like 2 Dvalin's Plume or something, you would put a 2 in there, obviously, and you'd keep track of what other stuff that you got. If that boss doesn't currently drop, right, say maybe you're doing Dvalin, you got 2 Dvalin 5-star material, maybe you got a Talon and a Breath, and he doesn't drop any of the other stuff for you, right? He's not dropping the elemental awakening materials for your characters. You would just put NA because it's not applicable. That's all that you would do there. And that's what you're going to be doing for that side of the form there. And then you can go ahead and you can upload a screenshot here for you guys as well. Keep that in mind. We have to blank out this email address of mine up there, but in-game screenshots are required. So you just alt print screen and you add the file there for you guys there, and you'll be good to go there. This helps them keep it from people just uploading random stuff and making the whole data set inaccurate. That's the thing that you guys want to be taking away from this, is that we're helping out a whole bunch with this data set. Hopefully you guys found the data that we have right now as a very valid resource. Hopefully you guys want to contribute to that data. It does take a little bit of work, right? It does take a little bit of time. You got to be like, what? All right, so I just beat a boss, blah, 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 blah. Pop it in there, alt print screen, boom, upload that file. Good to go there. So with that being said, guys, thank you for spending that time here today. A little bit of a longer video as we were trying to explain this stuff. Get this out there, whether it's this video or just word of mouth, the information down there, because if we can all come together and have more accurate information on drop rates, data collection in a lot of different ways, a lot of cool stuff for you guys out there. So with that being said, thanks to reaching out for me to the data collection community. Hopefully we can do some cool stuff. With that being said, I already said that's being said. I'm just going to end the video. Take care, guys. I'll see you guys. Bye.